Hi, this is Heidi from Garden Crossings. Here we have the Perfectomundo series of azaleas. These are reblooming azaleas. So I just went out in the greenhouse and there's a lot of them in bloom right now, but I wanted to just bring out three that I thought were really pretty and kind of balance off of each other really nicely. So the first azalea that we have here is the Perfectomundo. This here is the double purple. It features these really beautiful lavender pink blooms. The nice double row of flowers is really nice. The Perfectomundo series are hardy in zones 6B through 9. So they've got really nice hardiness. And they grow about 2.5 to 3 foot tall and about 3 to 4 foot wide. We also have the orange, Perfectomundo orange. And this is a really pretty single reblooming azalea. And if you look closely at the flowers, you can see there's a little bit of texture in there, a little bit of like polka dot texture. But these bloom really great in the spring and then have an excellent late summer rebloom as well. We have the Perfectomundo double pink, which is a really beautiful bubblegum pink color, a nice double layer of petals, and just an excellent coverage of flowers for all these Perfectomundos in the early spring and then again later on in the season. These like to be grown in a full sun to part shade location, and they're a nice landscape plant that not only, I mean, if you can get a shrub that gives you spring color and fall color, I always think it's a bonus, you know, if you've got these nice reblooming plants. And the Perfectomundo definitely brings a nice reblooming quality azalea to the garden. Here we have the Sparky Clematis. These are such a fun, whimsical looking clematis, different than many other clematis you may see in your garden. These are hardy in zones 5 through 8 and grow about 6 to 8 foot tall. So definitely a clematis that you're going to want to put on a fairly sizable in height type trellis. So the Sparkies come in 3 different colors, and I thought it would be really good to kind of put especially the purple and the blue next to each other. So that way you can kind of see the contrast of colors. So there's Sparky Pink, Sparky Purple, and Sparky Blue. These like to be grown in full sun to part shade locations. They've got these really fun looking octopus looking blooms. The Sparky series does bloom off of the old growth in the spring. And then throughout the summer, you're going to see some blooms blooming off of any new growth that may have occurred. This is really quite a long blooming clematis, which I think is nice, and certainly going to be one of the earliest ones that will show color in the garden. They do attract hummingbirds. They've got these beautiful open blooms that attract the hummingbirds. So a definite welcome addition to the garden. What I like to do when I'm planting clematis at my yard is I like to mix usually 2 or 3 different varieties on one trellis. That way I have a lot of different colors and textures all going on within one location. Some clematis bloom early, some will bloom later. So also by mixing a lot of different varieties together, that kind of ensures that the longevity of color on that particular trellis is going to potentially last throughout the season much longer. So hopefully you enjoyed these new Sparky Clematis, and I think really the take home here is just to see the difference in color, and don't be afraid to mix them on a trellis because it's always pretty to have a nice mixture of colors in your garden. And we are going to continue the spring color series out in the greenhouse. And here we have the Azalea Bollywood. So the difference between the Azalea Bollywood and the Perfectomundo azaleas is this particular azalea has beautiful variegated foliage. So even when this is not in bloom, you've got the beautiful green and white leaves. And in the spring, it's really nice with these bright, hot pink flowers. Bollywood has single flowers, where a lot of the Perfectomundos are more the double flowers. This is hardy in zones 6 to 9 and gets about 2 to 3 foot tall and wide, so a nice compact shrub. This is great for foundation plantings. You can use it in borders. So just if you need to add just a little splash of color tucked in, it's compact and can fit into small places as well. So if you're looking for a spring blooming shrub that not only has this beautiful, just full coverage of flowers, but also foliage that takes you throughout the summer and even into the winter because it is evergreen, the Bollywood azalea may be perfect for your gardens. So this isn't necessarily a plant that has beautiful flowers right now, but it's got great spring foliage. So the 2 plants that I'm featuring out here is the double play candy corn and the double play Doozy. Double play candy corn is hardy in zones 4 to 7, and it gets about 2 foot tall and 2 foot wide. And double play Doozy is hardy in zones 3 to 8, and gets about 2 to 3 foot tall and wide. The beautiful thing with both of these plants is they have great spring foliage for the new growth. So the double play candy corn is so colorful you won't believe your eyes, with candy apple red foliage that starts to show in early spring. As the season progresses, older foliage transforms to pineapple yellow, creating a unique contrast with orange, red new growth. Dark purple blooms in the late spring make this one of the most eye-popping spirea yet. And then there's double play Doozy, which is the first ever sterile reblooming spirea. All of its energy goes into flowering. Like all of the double play varieties, spring foliage is the opening act. This selection starts in season with bright red and lime leaves that darken as the season progresses. The next act is the hot pink red flowers that open in June and continue to bloom until the frost. It's truly an extraordinary and intuitive plant. Both of these plants can be grown in full sun to part shade locations, and they're also deer resistant. If you're looking for something for the garden that attracts hummingbirds, spirea are an excellent choice for adding the hummingbirds into your garden. You can use them as a border plant, use them as a specimen, or even plant them along the foundation for just a beautiful splash of not only the foliage color, but the flowers that show throughout the season. Here we have the Sorbaria. This is Mr. Mustard, kind of a fun name, I think. And the thing I really like about this plant is it's got great texture to add to the landscape. Beautiful hues of chartreuse green and some orangey new growth there. So Mr. Mustard is a very compact selection, only getting about 2 to 3 foot tall and 3 to 4 foot wide. It's about a fifth of the size of the normal plants of this species. It boasts brighter and longer lasting colorful springtime foliage that yields an array of yellow, orange, red, and even pink hues. White astilbe-like flowers appear in summer, attracting butterflies and other pollinators. As the growth slows in midsummer, the foliage transforms to a Kelly green color. Remove any suckers that may appear annually to keep it a nice mounded habit. This is a great plant to add to your garden if you're looking to put something that's deer resistant, that has beautiful foliage, and also excellent summer flowers. So I came across this specimen here. This is the Forsythia show-off sugar baby. I know the plant is really small right now and it's going to continue to grow throughout the spring, but the one thing I did really want to show you and point out is when I talk about like tip to toe blooming, this Forsythia sugar baby is definitely a plant that tip to toe blooms. If you look at it, even on these short little stems that are here right now, you can just see how the flowers go from way down at the base of that plant all the way to the tip. It's just fully covered in flowers, dense flowers also. Sugar baby is one of the smallest in the Forsythia family, only getting about 1.5 to 2 foot tall, and it is hardy in zones 5 to 8. So pretty much, most of the United States can grow a Forsythia in their area. The other nice thing with the Forsythia is this is a shrub variety that is deer resistant. So if deer are an issue in your garden, they're going to tend to leave the Forsythias alone. So if you're talking like small, medium, and large in the shrub family, you can definitely hit all those bases with the show-off Forsythias. So the baby of the family is show-off sugar baby. There's also show-off starlet, and then just the regular show-off. So depending what your garden size is, if it's just a small little patio type garden, or if you have just an expansive, huge, acres and acres to put your flowers on, there's definitely a show-off for you in your garden. Some other beauties that I found out here in the cold frame is this wonderful Scotch Broom. This here is the Sister Golden Hair. One thing to point out is it's got really large spring flowers on it. They're almost the color of a daffodil. So this is a spring blooming shrub, and when it is done blooming, it's got great foliage, kind of a grassy-ish, not really, but kind of a mounding, let's say grassy-ish looking foliage. Sister Golden Hair is hardy in zones 5 to 8, and it gets about 1 to 1.5 foot tall. So just a nice, compact mounding shrub that gives you spring color. We also kind of put it up against here with Doozy Yuki Snowflake. And as we set them up on the table, we realized what a great pairing they are. So the Yuki snowflake is hardying zones 5 to 8, and another compact plant, only 1 to 2 foot tall, creating a nice mounding habit. Places I would use the Yuki snowflake is definitely in the landscape. It's a great border plant. So if you want to just line a pathway with beautiful spring color, the Yuki snowflake would be a great border plant. But also if you have, areas in your foundation that you maybe have like a little bit taller plants in the back, and you just need something to pop in front of those taller plants, Yuki snowflake would be a great plant to kind of do the stepped back look in the landscape as well, or up against your house if you've got, those taller shrubs up against the house. So two really great spring bloomers. The thing too with the Yuki snowflake is before these buds open up, there's cute just little white looking pearls on the plant. So I think that even before the flower opens, there's a lot of interest going on in this spring blooming variety. This is Heidi from Garden Crossings.